God. Rachel, this is Dan. 10th hole, there's been a murder. You better get the cops out here, quick.
I started out my career in the Catskill Mountains, and I was a singer-comedian. I was once asked at that age to open a show for the legendary comedian Milton Berle. And I started telling a very off-color joke to a room full of grandmothers. So Milton Berle came on stage while I'm telling this off-color joke and holds up the microphone cord at the connector. Milton Berle disconnects my microphone and escorts me off stage to thunderous applause. I didn't consider myself a comedian after that. Well, after I started doing my solo singing show in the Catskills, I started auditioning for Broadway shows, and I had a manager at the time who sent me out to LA for like a week. So I went out for a week and they said, wow, I mean, if you come out here, we have this project coming up. You need to come out here and meet Simon. Simon, meet Jordan. He's coming out here. You got that project? Oh, he's going to work like crazy. It's amazing. So I quit my successful Broadway show and moved to LA and didn't work for a year and a half. I really was unaware of the ninja phenomenon, but I was always fascinated by that kind of choreography and was very interested in seeing it. I was just called in to audition. They took a bunch of different things that had been around, like The Exorcist, Flashdance, and they conflated it all together in this movie of a ninja story, which was kind of interesting. I just wanted to have a good time and do the best I could for what it was. Well, I met Nachum, I think twice. The first time was auditioning at the final audition. He was doing a movie called Over the Brooklyn Bridge. And my recollection is someone came into the room and showed him a poster, finished poster at the time, and it was the wrong bridge. I mean, the Brooklyn Bridge is one of the most iconic bridges in the world, but it was the wrong bridge. And they were explaining to him that they have a picture of the wrong bridge, and his response was, "A bridge is a bridge." I loved Sam. I thought Sam was a fun guy who definitely knew what he was doing. I think Sam got a little frustrated with me at times because, like, I remember a particular scene where I come into her apartment for the first time and I kept saying, I'd love to have a mirror in the apartment somewhere because I want to, like, before she comes into the room, I want to dance in front of the mirror and look at myself in the mirror, just do something goofy. She had a video gaming machine there, so I used the reflection in that as the mirror. In that initial scene in her apartment, I tried to get him to use the Men at Work song, Land Down Under. So when I initially found the video screen, I started doing like a semi-striptease dance thing in it, singing along with the Men at Work thing. I think there's outtakes of that, but it was never used in the film. When we got to Phoenix, where it was shot, I asked if I could do a ride-along with some cops, and they arranged that, and I found it fascinating. The first guy I rode with was an older cop. He took me into one place, which was a bar that had notorious problems, and he went up to the bar, talking to the bartender with his back toward me, and it's like you walk into a room and everything stops. I'm not even near the cop, I'm just inside the entranceway, and they're all staring at me, and I have no clue what's going on. The guy's back is toward me, and they're all looking at me in a very scary manner, so that was a little frightening. And then the second cop I went out with was kind of a new recruit, and he wanted to show me a good time. So, well, he would just zoom all over town, finding incidents from me, trying to show off, I guess, but that was kind of fun. We shot it in Phoenix, I think, as I mentioned earlier. We all had a great time. We did things like, there was a telephone truck that was used in the shoot, and it was always in the parking lot of the DoubleTree Hotel. So we figured out how to start the truck. So in the evening, sometimes few of us would go out, steal the truck, because we didn't have our own cars, and we'd go out on the town. We had a great time. No one ever caught us. All the fight choreography and all the stunts, that was the first time I witnessed stunt work like that, and I was quite quite amazed by a lot of it. And one of the times they asked me to do a stunt, which didn't really turn out too well. I had a little sports car, and they wanted me to round the corner and crash the car, or go out of control and go into the curb. And I said, I'm not gonna crash a sports car and roll over and kill myself.
Baby, take a look at me. Is it really that bad a face?
But let's talk about the VH juice scene. I like VH juice, and I like Lucinda, so it was all okay. There's a scene right before that, where before I go to her apartment for the first time, where she's a health nut, and I'm keep asking her to come out for some coffee, and she says, I don't have any coffee at home, but I have V8 juice. So there was V8 juice on the craft table, and when we got to the lovemaking scene, Lucinda didn't want to do any nudity, so I thought of trying to do something kinky. So it was my idea to kind of get the V8 juice from the craft table, and she would drink it in the scene and then pour it all over herself, and I would lick it off. And that's probably one of the most talked about scenes from the movie. Although so many people have said, I don't find that sexy at all. Christy! There's one scene where Lucinda's character, possessed by the evil ninja, and the ninja comes back into her, and I'm her boyfriend at the time, and I have no clue what's going on. And she becomes possessed again, and she grabs a samurai sword and makes a move and throws me down onto the floor against the bed and is going to smash me over the head with the samurai sword. And in the scene, it comes like that close to my head. She obviously not being trained for that. In the close-up, Sho Kosugi did the move where he would bring the sword down within an inch of my skull. So they started shooting, and I was unaware of what he was going to do. It literally was a full swing at a breakneck speed, like that. And so the look on my face of being scared out of my mind in that scene is real. It's very real. He does that and comes within and stopped within an inch of my skull at that speed. He found it quite amusing that I was scared about that.
Yeah, she's right here. Yes. Hi.
Lucinda's great. We hung out a lot together. We talked a lot together. We were both married to other people at the time, and we talked about each scene together and how we were going to make it work. So it was a very healthy working relationship. And we've stayed in touch basically by Facebook since then, occasionally. So we're still in touch.
He is here now. I can tell you much more.
James Caan is quite a character. He's Chinese, but he's playing Japanese in that film. And he's supposed to be doing a chant over Lucinda's character at one point in the scene. And then when they went to look at the dailies, it turned out he was chanting, E.T. phone home, E.T. phone home.
No. You finish it. Get rid of the son of a bitch.
To me, Ninja 3: The Domination, it's a cheesy film of all different styles. The fight choreography is great for its time, but it's still a cheesy film, but I enjoy watching it because it's just silly fun. And hopefully a lot of the fans of the film feel the same way and don't take it too seriously. I was working at this location once and a bunch of people found it and put it on a big screen, and we all got wasted and we laughed our asses off. It was hysterical. I think I had no idea what I was getting into at the time. I think the people that worked on it were really fun, and I just had a fantastic time, and I'm glad people still enjoy it.